So in episode 7 of Euphoria just basically revealed the most terrifying claustrophobic character death in history. I mean, essentially, we see Nate Jacobs, a character we know so much to be about power and control and just being egotistical, a bully in general, just be stripped of all of it. Like, he loses his wife, his money, his house, his toes and hands, and his life eventually. And how did this happen? Well, I don't want to spoil the series, but essentially he goes and borrows money from a loan shark, an Armenian who goes by the name of Nas. And obviously Nas does not like that his money is not being paid to him, so he requests for more money, which is interest. And eventually Nas asks for $1 million, which obviously our character cannot pay. So our character is trapped in a wooden box, a coffin on the ground in the California desert, and his only lifeline is a PVC pipe connected to the top so he can breathe. Now Nate, obviously he's stupid, he doesn't know that his life is at risk just being there, and he continues to scream and scream. I mean, that is good. That is good. The showrunners even do some stupid weird movie magic. His brother comes looking for him around the same spot, but somehow, when his brother was there, when he could actually hear his brother was there, he did not see anything. Now, I'm not saying that he probably was hearing. I don't know if he was. I've never been on the ground, so I don't know if you can hear someone up top. But it's so weird that he only started screaming after his brother left. Very weird. But we see our character, continues to vibrate and vibrate and vibrate until eventually he meets his fate at the hands of a rattlesnake. Now, my point today is not to break down what happened in the movie, because I think you already know that, but to break down what happened, why did he die, and how did he die so quickly? Because snake venoms kill, definitely, but they don't kill in hours. I mean, we can say timeline-wise, the time the snake came was noon, let's just say noon. And the time Cassie came, let's say it's around 8-9 p.m. So you have a timeline of, say, 9 hours, 10 hours. 10 hours is still a lot of time and not even enough time per day. So how come he died so quickly, bro? To fully understand the speed of Nate's deaths, we have to understand the environment. Now, rattlesnakes don't actively hunt humans, so why did this one just go down a coffin slithering to go attack Nate? Now, when Nate starts thrashing and screaming around the coffin and the ground starts to shake, the snake registered this as a huge, absolute threat, and registering that means that it has to defend itself. Now, the only way to go, seeing that the whole ground is shaking, is to try to go under. Obviously, with the space provided with the PVC, it had the perfect opportunity to go see its predator. And obviously, when it gets there, it's a classified space, so obviously it could not been in the ankle, in the arm, any peripheral body part that may have elongated his time of death. But unfortunately, it had to bite him in the face, in the neck, like sensitive areas where there was no much time between the venom spread and its movement to the heart or brain, whichever part. We're gonna get to that. Let's go. Now, the moment those fangs kind of pierce into Nate's throat, face, or let's say jugular, all those destructive toxins in the snake's venom start to move. Now, the thing about rattlesnakes is that most of their venoms, or some of their venoms, contain both hemotoxic and neurotoxic chemicals. Now, the first of these chemicals for this rattlesnake is hyaluronidase. Now, hyaluronidase is used to break down hyaluronic acid. Hyaluronic acid is what is in your connective tissue. So we're talking about things like in between your joints, for example. Now, this hyaluronidase enzyme helps to break down, as I said, connective tissue, and it prepares your body for the other toxins that are about to unleash on it. So it is not good at all. Not good. Now, the next toxin is your phospholipase A2. Now, phospholipase A2 is horrible because it helps to digest your lipid parts of the cell membrane, essentially causing massive instantaneous tissue necrosis. To put it simply, you're being digested inside out. So, not good at all. Now, usually when a person gets bite, they get bite on a farm, at home, but usually it's like an extreme part of the body, as I already said. So it's probably like your arm, your legs, like body extremities. So it's like it takes a while for the venom to travel. So usually I said a day or a couple of days if you're lucky, But For most people, or in this case, in Nate's case, where he was in a confined space and the snake just bit, let's say, on the jugular, the face, just very, very sensitive areas in general. The problem is the speed of venom traveling. Now, we know that blood circulates so fast. I mean, I can't remember the values I was taught in school. I mean, I'm still being taught in school, but it circulates really fast, and just injecting the small amount of blood or just small amount of drug into your system, within minutes, you should have circulated around your body. Now, imagine venom that's so close to your heart, and every blood cell has to go through the heart and be pumped all over again through systemic circulation. So if you're injecting something so quickly close to the heart, obviously it's going to take a lot less transit time than if you injected it, say, somewhere like around the soles of the feet, even around the extremities of your arm. All right. Now, the basic science of that is that obviously with transit time being reduced, there's increased risk, and the toxic effects of whatever venom or drug you're infecting or injecting to yourself speeds up. Now, the first thing is that it is possible that Nate may have suffered an anaphylactic reaction, which would have caused his neck to swell, and obviously the tongue swelling as well, all very characteristic of anaphylactic reactions. And the more present thing is the amounts of it. Now, we see that he's actually very swollen. I mean, I don't know if I'm not going to clinically examine it because I probably will not get the ratios right, but compared to normal Jacob Elordi's neck and the final, scene we see with Nate Jacobs' neck, there is some significant amount of difference, and that is probably due to the metalloproteinases in the snake venom, which cause pulling of blood or sequestration of blood essentially from the blood vessels and just gathering around the neck, the oral mucosa, the cavity. So obviously there'll be about some swelling, angioedema around those parts, and obviously with the tongue even being swollen from the anaphylactic reaction does sort of add up to the angioedema being said. Snake, or rather rattlesnakes generally, as I already said, have toxins that are both hemotoxic and neurotoxic. Now, we've already discussed the hemotoxic part, obviously the angioedema, the anaphylactic shock, and other things that hemotoxic parts of the venom will do. Now, apart from that, it's called hemotoxic because it actually acts like an anticoagulant. It makes your blood very thin. But for the neurotoxic part, the main, caveat with that, or caveat with that, is that it kind of blocks your acetylcholine release, and acetylcholine, as we know, is a neurotransmitter. All right, so it's a neurotransmitter for both your presynaptic. It's a neurotransmitter for your cholinergic nervous system. Now, cholinergic nervous system makes up your rest, your sludge, sleep, lacrimation, urination, digestion, what's G again? I don't know what G is anymore, but essentially your sludge or resting phase of your activities. Now, with acetylcholine inhibited, your body is going to slowly creep into paralysis, and the problem with that is your parasympathetic nervous system and your sympathetic nervous system, or your emergency nervous system, work together, and they all have controls over different parts of your body and different systems. I mean, they don't work separately, because one does not control one part of your body and the other control another part. No, they actually both work in synergy. So you're both likely going to see them both in the same system. Now, in the respiratory system, since your neurotoxins are going to block your acetylcholine release, the most likely feature you're first going to see is most likely respiratory distress, because your diaphragm is going to get paralyzed, because if the respiratory system or the respiratory center in the brain is paralyzed, is not working right, the diaphragm is definitely going to get it first. And with the diaphragm getting paralysis and Nate already having choking angioedema and his airways already being shot from the anaphylactic reactions, plus the fact that he's in a coffin, an actual coffin, about 6 feet on the ground with just one narrow airstream, you can see why he easily dies. I said that I'd tell you how to help yourself out if you ever find yourself in such situations as Nate Jacobs, but let's pray and hope and wish that you don't ever find yourself in such situations, okay? But it is important to note that why the snake did actually kill or cause the death of Nate Jacobs, it was because Nate wasn't calm that accelerated his death. I mean, obviously the part of the proximity to the heart was also a very huge playing factor, but I don't know how long he would have made it, but I think could have made it a lot longer, maybe even just enough for him to be saved. If he was a lot calmer, if he was a lot more controlled with his approach, not screaming and trashing everywhere. In fact, the snake only came because of the vibration. So if he was just screaming and not trying to shake the coffin, but I do get the analogy of it. He's trying to get attention. I mean, you're most likely to move towards a place that's vibrating and shaking like an earthquake than to hear a sound when your ears are plugged with, whatever music you're listening to. So obviously I get the analogy of that, but it just really is sad that Nate's death came from Nate's own decisions, as always. As always. Nate was always Nate's worst enemy. So I'm a huge fan of the show, as you can guess already. I'm obviously a mega fan of Zendaya. And obviously I love Alexa Darmy. Cindy Sweeney's alright. I mean, I don't love her. She's great though. I don't love her. Don't come for me. Jacob Elordi's alright. Yeah. The show was great. Sam Levinson, the only problem I have with him was that he didn't allow Labyrinth to have his music, because Labyrinth music made the whole show its own show. But anyways, I feel like, yeah, it was alright. And please don't find yourself in situations like Nate Jacobs, please. Alright? But please pray for me. I have tests, I have exams, I'm stressed out, but hey, that's all. Toodles.